Magnets are quite common things, really. You probably have several stuck to your refrigerator right now. They hold up shopping lists, children's artwork, and perhaps a takeout menu. These everyday magnets seem harmless enough. They are small, often colorful, and possess a curious, invisible power. We use them in toys, jewelry clasps, and even some alternative medicine. Their ability to stick to certain metals is a neat trick. These bits of metal, or sometimes ceramic, generate a magnetic field. This field makes them attract or repel other magnetic materials. Think of iron, nickel, or cobalt. These are a magnet's best friends. The magnets in a child's building set click together satisfyingly. The ones in an electric motor work hard, unseen, to make things spin. Even the dark strip on your credit card uses magnetism to store information. It's a fundamental force of nature, harnessed for our convenience and amusement. The small size of many common magnets contributes to their innocent reputation. A tiny disc magnet, no bigger than a button battery, can seem like a trivial thing. Because they are small, they don't look like a threat. They just look like little bits of metal or plastic, easily overlooked, easily misplaced, and, as we will see, sometimes easily swallowed. The real trouble, the kind that makes doctors sit up and take notice, begins when these seemingly benign objects find their way inside a human body. How does a magnet, a thing meant for sticking and building, end up on a journey through someone's digestive tract? More often than not, the answer involves a child. Young children explore the world with their mouths. If something is small, shiny, and within reach, there's a decent chance it will end up being tasted, gummed, or, unfortunately, swallowed. Those little button magnets, especially the powerful rare earth neodymium ones, can look quite a bit like candy. They are smooth, sometimes colorful, and irresistibly intriguing to a curious toddler or a young child. It's not always children, though. Teenagers and even adults have been known to swallow magnets. Sometimes it's accidental, perhaps while holding small magnetic parts in their mouths during a craft project or a DIY repair. Other times it's a result of mimicking piercings. Young people might use small, powerful magnets on either side of their tongue, earlobe or nose to simulate a piercing. It's all fun and games until one slips down the hatch. The act of swallowing itself is quick, often unnoticed. The initial sensation of swallowing a small magnet might be minimal. There might be a slight cough, a moment of surprise, and then nothing. Because there's no immediate pain or discomfort, the incident might go unreported. This lack of immediate alarm is deceptive. The real danger isn't in the swallowing itself, but in what happens next, deep inside the body. The fundamental problem with swallowed magnets is their defining characteristic. They attract each other, or they attract other metallic objects. Outside the body, this is a useful feature. Inside the body, it's a recipe for disaster. Your intestinal walls, the delicate lining of your stomach, these things are not strong enough to keep determined magnets apart. If two or more magnets are swallowed, or even one magnet and another metallic object like a coin or a button battery, they will try to find each other. They don't care about the soft tissues that might be caught in between. Imagine two magnets swallowed at different times. One might be ambling through your small intestine, while the other is still in your stomach or a different loop of bowel. When they get close enough, they will pull towards each other with surprising force. This force can be strong enough to draw two separate loops of intestine together. The magnets then clamp onto each other, with the delicate intestinal walls trapped firmly in their grip. This is where the serious trouble starts, a hidden pinch, with potentially devastating consequences. The pressure they exert on the trapped tissues is relentless. Blood flow to the pinched area can be cut off. Let's follow the path of a swallowed object. First, it goes down the esophagus, a muscular tube connecting your mouth to your stomach. This part is usually quick. Then it lands in the stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped organ that churns and mixes food with strong acids. A single, small, weak magnet might sit here for a bit, then get pushed along with the food into the small intestine. The small intestine is a very long coiled tube, about 20 feet long in adults, where most digestion and nutrient absorption happens. It's a winding, narrow passage. If it's just one tiny, smooth and weak magnet, there's a chance it could make it all the way through. It could navigate the twists and turns of the small intestine, then move into the large intestine or the colon, and finally be expelled with a bowel movement. This is the best-case scenario, the one everyone hopes for. Doctors might even advise a watch-and-wait approach for a single swallowed magnet with instructions to check stools. However, this relies on the magnet being truly solitary and not particularly strong. The problem escalates dramatically if the magnet is powerful, like a neodymium magnet, or if there are multiple magnets. Even a single, strong magnet can be an issue if it decides to stick to something metallic already in the gut from a previous, forgotten ingestion, or even a surgical clip from a past operation. The digestive system is not a straight pipe. When two or more magnets, or a magnet and another metallic item, find each other across different segments of the bowel, the situation turns critical. The intestinal walls, which are relatively thin and delicate membranes, get caught in the middle. The magnets exert a constant pressure on these trapped tissues. This isn't like a brief pinch you might get on your skin. This is sustained, unyielding compression. The force can be surprisingly strong, especially with modern rare earth magnets, which are designed for maximum pull in a minimal package. They are small but mighty, and in this context, mighty dangerous. This relentless squeezing has a name for its effect: pressure necrosis. Necrosis is just a medical term for tissue death. The magnets squeeze the life out of the trapped intestinal walls by cutting off their blood supply. Without blood, the tissue doesn't get oxygen or nutrients, and it can't remove waste products. It starts to die. This isn't a quick process, but it's an inevitable one if the magnets remain clamped together. As the tissue dies, it weakens. Eventually, the weakened intestinal wall can tear or rupture. The damage caused by swallowed magnets goes beyond just pinching. Once that pressure necrosis sets in and a perforation occurs, the body is in serious trouble. The bacteria that normally live harmlessly inside your intestines are suddenly unleashed into the sterile environment of your abdominal cavity, also known as the peritoneal cavity. This is like inviting a horde of unruly guests into a pristine operating room. The result is often peritonitis, a widespread and dangerous infection. The body's immune system kicks into high gear, but it can quickly become overwhelmed. Sepsis is another grave risk. This is a life-threatening condition that arises when the body's response to an infection injures its own tissues and organs. If peritonitis isn't treated rapidly and effectively, it can progress to sepsis. The patient can develop a high fever, rapid heart rate, confusion, and a dangerous drop in blood pressure. It's a cascade of organ dysfunction, a systemic meltdown. Recognizing that there's a problem after magnet ingestion can be tricky. The initial symptoms are often vague and can mimic other common illnesses like a stomach bug or indigestion. A child might complain of a tummy ache. They might vomit. They might develop a fever. These are non-specific symptoms, meaning they can be caused by many different conditions. This can delay diagnosis, especially if no one witnessed the magnets being swallowed, or if the person who swallowed them doesn't mention it. The magnets are doing their damage silently, deep inside. As the situation worsens, the symptoms tend to become more severe. Abdominal pain might become more intense, localized, or constant. The abdomen might become tender to the touch or distended and bloated. When a patient arrives at the hospital with suspected magnet ingestion, the first step is usually an X-ray. This imaging technique is excellent for visualizing metallic objects within the body. The X-ray will show the number of magnets, their shape, and their location. Doctors will be particularly interested to see if multiple magnets are clustered together, which strongly suggests they have attracted each other across bowel walls. Sometimes a series of X-rays over a few hours might be taken to see if a single magnet is progressing through the digestive system or if it's stuck. If a single magnet is seen and appears to be moving and the patient has no symptoms, doctors might opt for careful observation. This means waiting and checking stools to confirm the magnet has passed. However, if there are multiple magnets, or if a single magnet is stationary, or if the patient is symptomatic, then intervention is usually necessary. The urgency depends on the severity of the symptoms and the X-ray findings. If there are signs of perforation or obstruction, the situation is a surgical emergency. The goal is to get those magnets out before they cause more harm or to repair the harm already done. For magnets located in the stomach or the upper part of the small intestine, the duodenum, doctors can often remove them using an endoscope. This is a thin, flexible tube with a light and a camera on the end, which is passed down the throat. Special tools can be inserted through the endoscope to grasp and retrieve the magnets. Swallowed magnets can cause severe pain, infection, and major surgery. Prevention is the best medicine. Adults must keep powerful small magnets away from young children. Be vigilant about toys, desk accessories, and jewelry. Check toy safety labels and be aware of product recalls. Educate older children about the dangers of magnets. Explain the internal damage magnets can cause. Open conversations about safety can prevent emergencies. Store small, powerful magnets securely out of reach. Regularly inspect toys to ensure magnets are safely encased. Discard broken toys with exposed magnets safely. Be cautious with adult desk toys made of small magnetic balls or cubes. Assume any small, loose magnet will find its way into a child's mouth.